It made me scared. That's what we're doing. All right, we're good. Welcome to the live stream where we do it live. This time on a Saturday, we're still doing tomorrow's stream. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. We'll do tomorrow's stream at 7. That's the normal stream. This is a bonus stream, and it's called Good News with Tony D and Little Joan. And that's what we do. We only talk about positive things. We try to. It's often very hard. It's 2024, but we're gonna start very positively. Okay. So what's the first positive thing? All right. So first up, I'm gonna give you my basic recipe for spaghetti sauce. For those of you who aren't Italian, now you might say, "How did you come up with this recipe?" I'm Italian, so just naturally, I already know how to do it. It just came natural. It just came to me. I said, I really want to make some spaghetti sauce, and I wasn't at my mom's house, so I said, how do I do that? Oh, yeah, it's simple. So what you do, and this is the quick way to do it. If you're like one person like me and you don't want to make a lot of it and spend hours and hours. So first, you have to buy good tomato puree, like good stuff, like something with a vowel at the end of the name, like cento is pretty good, but there are others. Get puree or crushed tomatoes if you like it a little chunkier. Don't go with stewed tomatoes, or else you're gonna have to mash them up and cook it longer. You don't want to do that. But if you go with puree, it's like perfect. So it's basically already spaghetti sauce. You just have to cook it and spice it up a little bit. So you have that. Maybe like one big can of it, right? So you get a pot and you pour some olive oil to cover the bottom. You start heating that up. Get some onion or garlic or both. Chop it up nice and fine. Put that on the bottom of the pot. If it's onion, you want to let it get clear. Cook it that long. With garlic, just let it get a little brown. Don't go too nuts with the garlic. Stir it up a little bit. You want a wooden spoon for this. You need a wooden spoon. You gotta have a wooden spoon. Then you take your tomato paste, your tomato puree. You dump that in there, the whole can. Then you might wash out the excess with some water and pour that in there too. You want a little bit of water in the thing. Now, if you like thicker sauce, you might put in, if you're making more for like a bunch of people, you'd put in a can of tomato paste and then maybe another can of puree. It depends on how, and this is just sort of the quick and dirty way I do it. I don't put tomato paste generally. You could just let it cook longer if you want it to get thicker. And I have a pot on now. Smells so good. Smells so good. The whole house smells like tomato sauce. Next, you want to put some spices in it. Now, you already have the garlic and onion. You could salt it a little bit. Don't go nuts with that, I would say. I don't like to put extra salt in food. There's usually salt in everything. You might put in some oregano if you want it to taste more like a pizza sauce, or you put in basil if you want it to taste more like spaghetti sauce. You might put in a little garlic powder if you haven't put any garlic chunks in it. You can put in a bay leaf. You can throw that in. Don't eat that, but you can cook it. It kind of takes the bitterness out, but generally you don't need it. I don't usually use it. It can also remove some of the acidity too, but generally I don't use that. Don't put sugar in it. What are you, nuts? But the key ingredient to make it good is you want some kind of meat. Now, ideally, if you have an extra pork chop lying around, you want to fry that up, drop it in there, and pour in the grease. The grease is key. Now, if you don't have that, what I like to do is every once in a while, I'll go to the store, I'll get about 2 pounds of ground meat. And I'll bring that home, and I'll make meatballs. So to make meatballs, you just take the meat, you mix in parsley, breadcrumbs, egg, little chunks of garlic, little chunks of onion, and you fry those meatballs up. Now, ideally, on the day you make the meatballs, you want to make spaghetti and meatballs. But on other days, like if you get a 2-pound package of meat, you can make a lot of meatballs. And what I like to do is freeze them. Hey, Don. Making me hungry, man. LOL. Yes. I'm hungry myself, smelling the sauce. I maybe should have waited until after the stream. So, put the meat in there. That's key. But if you have, like I did today, I had meatballs in Ziploc bags that were frozen. Well, I made them, but I froze them. Now I'm just dropping the frozen ones in. And the key is you want to put it on the lowest possible setting on your stove. You might want to put like a screen or a lid over it. You want to put the wooden spoon in the sauce. It's got to touch the bottom of the pot or else it'll burn. And you just leave it in there. You let it in the lowest possible setting for like hours, ideally. So I started this at 2. I'm going to eat dinner in about 3 hours. That's like perfect. It'll simmer for 3 hours. It'll thaw out my meatballs. And when I'm ready to dump it on some spaghetti, it'll be ready to go. Ready to go. Joan and I will eat like kings. Right, little Joan? Now, little Joan can't eat onions and garlic. Never feed onions and garlic to your dog. But what I like to do is I'll take the center of the meatball out, or some of it, and I'll pick through it and give her the meat. And then I'll give her some pasta. She likes the pasta. Dogs are okay for pasta. I don't give them too much, but you know, she likes human food. So that's how you do Italian food. The basics. The very basics. All right. So today we're getting into some good news. Now it's going to be a little different because, you know, normally I complain about movies and I've got lots to say. It's harder to do good news because when you're talking about good news, it's like, oh, that's good. Say you got nothing else. So it's harder to roll into it. Like with complaining, it's easy because you can complain about just about anything, right? You can go on and on about how stupid a movie is or how dumb some news story is. But good news, it's a lot tougher. It's a lot tougher. So we're going to get into some good news. I have a few links. I have links to the regular news too, but I'm going to skip the bad news in those, and I'm going to try to find the good news amongst the bad news. There's usually a few stories that we can interpret as positive things sometimes. In terms of good news for me, I got this weekend off. I didn't expect it. It turned out to be a blessing in disguise because it snowed in South Jersey. I don't know where you are, Don, but here in New Jersey, the East Coast got hit with a storm up north. But thankfully, South Jersey, we got snow, but it all melted on the road. So it's that kind of snow. So it's on the grass a bit, but the roads are clear. So it's like not getting snow at all. It's all the benefits of snow without having to deal with all the negatives of snow. I didn't have to shovel, right? I could clear my car easily. I don't have to do the driveway or salt anything. I'm out of salt anyway, but I should buy some salt. You know what? I should buy some salt this summer. I bet it'll be cheaper. Yeah, I didn't have an event this weekend, which is unusual for me. But the blessing is I can do bonus live stream. Don the Second's in Minnesota, home of George Floyd, Lamau, pirate symbol, yar. Yeah, I don't know if you heard that joke the guy made about George Floyd, the comedian. Man, that was funny. I laughed. And he had to apologize for it, which was sad. Should never apologize, especially for a joke. I mean, I guess you could find some exceptions, but yeah, it's tough. It's tough being a comedian these days. You know, let me tell you. You know, one of the rough things, not to complain, boy. Okay, I'll just tell this one story. So, the bad news is, as a comedy writer, it's harder to find gigs. The good news, however, just recently they started to come back. I just found one I applied to. David Lucas / everyone freaked out about it. Oh, that was a comedian, right? Yeah. Don the second. It wasn't even that bad, dude. Shake my head. Yeah. I thought it was funny. And then his follow-up was funny too. So you can kind of tell when there's a good stand-up guy. He's quick on his feet and he responds. YT Refugee is here. Yeah, he shouldn't have apologized, but it was funny. Welcome, YT. Don, I legit thought it was lukewarm. And I'm black. LOL. Yeah, and the only reason it's kind of a lukewarm joke is just because it's been so long. Like that joke would have been fire the second day. So to speak. Even black comedians can't get away with it. Don the second. I think he did generally, because it brought him so much attention. But I think he apologized. I think the word was he apologized because he was worried about his mother. But I still say he should have stuck to his guns. But, some people are forced into it. You're very vulnerable as a performer. People don't understand. You are vulnerable as a performer. I follow James Woods on Twitter. And he's really funny. And, he kind of gets that his career is done for the most part. Or he's famous enough that it kind of doesn't matter. He's made his money, and, so he can talk about being conservative all day long. It kind of doesn't matter to him. To someone coming up, though, it's really tough. Don, I thought about doing comedy, but my joke would be too effed up. I would have never apologized unless I got paid. Yeah. I mean, doing stand-up is fun. I just can't do it in the long haul. I really can't. I get bored with it really quick. Sif Sifa is here. Am I late for the gay for the news? I don't know. Are you gay for news? There's going to be positive news. The word gay used to mean happy. So I guess it's kind of gay news, happy news, in that respect. I'll tell you what we won't be talking about, comic books. Let's see what I got here. I didn't really look over these, but we'll see. I'm sure there's something here that's good under Good News Network. Good News Network. All right. Latest articles. Handheld test for breast cancer uses your saliva and gives accurate readings in 5 seconds. Wow, that sounds like a win-win. You can find out if your woman has breast cancer, and you get to lick their titties. Don the second. I'm only gay if I'm singing Christmas carols. That's right. That's right. Another use of the word. Here we go. Your horoscope for the week. Free will astrology. So, I guess this is positive. Good News Network. Astrology. All right. I'm going to read mine first, because... YT Refugee. Ha ha ha. Sifa. Oh, cool. So no radiation from mammograms causing breast cancer. It is good. Yes. All right. So my positive horoscope for the week. Piscean perfumer. Sophie Grossman. See, astrology, it's just for women. It really is just for women. Says, our lives are quiet. We like to be disturbed by delight. To that end, she has created over 30 best-selling fragrances. What is this, an advertisement for perfume? I want to know my future. She's created all these perfumes. I bring this up, Pisces. Okay, here we go. Because I believe it's now essential for you to be disturbed by delight. Okay? As well as to disturb others with delight. That's weird. Please do what's necessary to become a potent magnet for marvelous interruptions, sublime interventions, and blissful intrusions, and make yourself into a provider of those heading subversions too. I have no idea what any of this means. I'm going to try not to criticize it, though. Don the second. White liberal women love astrology for some reason. Yeah, like, this is, like, so obtuse. I don't even understand it. What am I supposed to do? It sounds like a very woman thing, right? You should be disturbed by delight, dear. Oh, I will be disturbed by delight. And then goes home to her boyfriend and, like, she just starts complaining. You know, I haven't been disturbed by delight in a while. And the boyfriend's just like, what? What are you talking about? We just went out. Sorry, I'm complaining. Can't complain. White pills. Well, at least it gives women something to do. There you go. Don the second. I told a chick at a bar I was a Cancer. She got so drunk, she called me a Capricorn. It's like motivation phrases like David Goggins, but for women. All right. Let's see what else is on the Good News Network here. Don the second. White pill. That's right. Young people in these G7 countries are interested in investing and find saving accounts sexy. Okay. Sifa. To be fair, telling people about your horoscope is a bit of a Capricorn, Sagittarius, Pisces thing to do. Is it? I don't know. So I guess young people are saving. That's good. That's positive. I didn't really save when I was younger. No, not really. For a little while I did. I was in a car accident and I there was a big lawsuit and I won some money. I don't recommend, by the way. Don the second. LOL, she brought it up. I don't deal with that mess. So I was in this car accident and I got some money out of it. And I had like a bundle for a while and I was investing it in stock. Back when the stock market wasn't as volatile as it is now. And my dad and my brother follow that stuff way closer than I did. And I made a little bit of money. But then, like, well, it's all gone. Long story short, it's all gone. I have a tiny bit of a stock portfolio now. I'm actually thinking of selling it for this month. Man, it was a rough month. But I'm confident stock market will get better. Because one of the stocks I bought, and this is not financial advice. You should never follow my financial advice. I'll say that right out. You can follow my advice for Italian food, but not finances. That would be disastrous. But I did buy stock in the company that owns Truth Social, and that's like been way up. It's crazy. I also have like a couple of stock of Tesla, and that goes up and down. Like it goes over to when I bought it, and then it comes back down. Right now it's down, but Don the second. You spent it on 70 Spider-Man comics, not financial advice. Yeah, that would have been a better investment than the stuff I spent it on. Yeah, I did not make good financial decisions, but I didn't have a lot of money. You know, I was always one of those people who would just spend all their money, right? Like I'd have a couple of $100 in the bank, but for the most part, I'd just spend it all. You know, I'd be like, oh, I got $200 left this week. I should go out. Like I was one of those guys. I should go out. I should take myself out to dinner because I have $200. And then I go buy sushi or some crazy thing, or maybe a strip club. I hear the rumor I went to strip clubs. I don't believe it. Dude, I don't know about Truth Social. Seems like an echo chamber for conservatives. They're all kind of echo chambers. It's fine. You know, it is a bit for Trump. You know, but I advertise there. People seem nice. There's not the problem with Truth Social is there's not. They are all politically aligned, so there's not a lot to say. They're kind of trying to out Trump one another, and it doesn't lead to a lot of good dialogue yet. Trying to tell them about the Jersey Devil, but it's tough. Not a lot of Jersey dudes on Truth Social. Dude, I wish $200 got me far. It's hard being a college kid these days, lol. A strip club nowadays almost costs $1,000. I know. It's ridiculous. Back when I was, or, the rumor was I would go there. A lap dance was $20 and it lasted a whole song. Now I don't know what it is. That's got to be more now. It's got to be more like 30. So, and remember, no matter what the stripper tells you, there is no sex in the champagne room. None. Oh, there's champagne in the champagne room, but there is no sex in the champagne room, as Chris Rock has said many times. Don second, I might use Truth Social, but since I don't do much political commentary, so it's what ever. Oh, it is whatever. Yeah, I'm sure there's music fans there. We need more like non-political stuff in it. But, they're there. Sif Sifa can barely buy ice cream for $200. Well, if you're Nancy Pelosi, yeah. Don the second, $20 lap dance is a steal. They get up close, too. Yes, they do. For a while, that was just my thing. Like, I'd go to a comic book convention, and I'd be like, all right, let's see what strip clubs are in the area. And so, like, one of the best ones actually was in Ohio. And you'd think it would be a little more uptight there. But, yeah, that was a good time. Ohio Strip Club, highly recommend. The one that was sort of a disappointment was Houston. I had heard all kinds of crazy stories about Houston and LA. Not great. I'm cool with no sex. I just need to have a good time. Ha ha ha. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Nothing will brighten your day like a pair of boobies rubbed in your face. I mean, really, it can cure the common cold. It's great. Speaking of strippers, says Sif Sifa, I'm straddling 2 streams, so both get views. Nice, positive. Don, you think the economy would make them less greedy? LOL. You know where they were very not greedy? At least back in the day. I used to do Heroes Con in Charlotte. And we always go to the strip clubs there. Don, can't go wrong with boobs. Exactly. We'd always go to the strip clubs in Charlotte because the girls there were, first off, they were really nice Southern girls. Not typical greedy strippers. And they would be nice to you even when you ran out of money. And that was very refreshing. Very refreshing. Some of the East Coast strippers, man, you run out of money, they're like, get the hell away from me. But not the girls in Charlotte. I was like, I'm tapped, baby, I'm tapped. And then she'd be like, that's okay. That was nice. Don, this is why I wish I was born in the 80s. Well, why don't you say that? YT, those college books aren't getting any cheaper. They got to make their money. Yeah, exactly. The 80s was an interesting time. Like, so, I was born in 66, so I was in high school in the 80s and college. And we just didn't realize it was the pinnacle of American civilization at that time. It just didn't see it coming. Don, if I was born in the 80s, in the 90s, I'd be a millionaire. Like, we would just, we just thought it was never going to end. And in fact, we complained about it because we just thought, oh, this is okay, but it has to get better than this. Like, no matter where you are in life, you always think, well, things have to get better. So when things go worse, you're just like, this isn't right. Don, oh wow, I got an ad. Tony D must be rich. You got an ad? What does that mean? What, did it pop up in the middle of the stream? I thought I turned that off. Sorry. Um, yeah, I wish I was rich. That would be fun. I thought everybody in the 80s thought they were going to be rich. That was sort of the metric, like to be a millionaire before you're 30. Everybody thought that. And yeah, it didn't work out for the creatives. It never works out for usually, unless you hit the lottery. And then nobody knows what that, you have to be like, you have to be ready to basically sell your soul to the machine, I would say. But I didn't really understand that. Many years I did not understand how it worked. Don, yes, it popped up. No worries, man. Get that ad revenue. Sorry. Thought I turned that off. Oh well. Let's see. More good news here. YT Refugee. Yeah, ad popped up. Damn it. Don the second. $1 million back then is like 5 million now. Well, to some extent, like the 70s is really the dividing line, because what happened in the 70s was Jimmy Carter, right? So when I was a kid, we had the gas crisis, and gas went up to 79 cents, and people thought that was outrageous. Like, that was outrageous. But I didn't quite understand it. I thought, 79 cents, that doesn't seem like a lot of money. I mean, I was a little kid. Then, during that time, my mother set me up with my first bank account. And back then, you could do like easily 5 to 7% interest on a bank account. Don, it's like music. They want you to do weird S to get famous, and I'm not with it. Yeah, stay true to yourself. Because it doesn't help you anyway. I've met plenty of people, they've sold their souls to get a little bit of fame, or try to, and they get nothing. And they basically ruined themselves for nothing. Now gas is $3. Yeah, right. It's crazy. But, so, like, I got set up with a bank account, and you could do 5 to 7%. So when I was a kid, I was like, if I could get $1 million, I'll put the money in the bank, and then I'll make $50,000 a year, and I'll be set. That was my plan. I mean, the math was good back then. Now you can still get, I think you could probably get 5% if you put the money. You can't do it in a bank. You'd have to do it in, some other financial thing. Again, don't follow my advice, where you get back 5%. Usually it's stock. Don, 5 to 10 sounds like gold. Yeah, that was like when interest rates were real. See, they've artificially, to get into Austrian economics for 2 seconds, but the Fed has artificially pushed the interest rates down. They should be much higher. They artificially pushed them down, the idea being that more people will invest and more people will take out loans for businesses because the money's so cheap. But now the money's not as cheap. And because you have to pay more of interest, people take fewer business loans or smaller ones because they don't want to pay that interest. But if we were used to that interest, the growth would be smaller, but it would be more steady and more real. Some of the growth we have is just propped up by this cheap money, and the moment the cheap money runs out, it collapses. That's the real danger. Don the second, the government just got taken over by the deep state, at least back when the dream sounded real. Now banks only rely on the debt. It's effed up. Well, here's the positive in this. First off, the deep state was always in the mix to some degree, or, if you go back and look up, and not to get too deep, but Operation Mockingbird. But the good news is the mask is so off now, most people are starting to realize there's something effed up. And because of that, they're pulling back. They're pulling back in a lot of areas. So they were just discussing on a couple of the videos I was watching about the X-Men. This was RJ at the fourth age. So, not to get into comics again. Don, I'm surprised the apocalypse hasn't started yet. Well, that's always been in the mix. I mean, back in the 70s, they were like, oh my God, gas is 79 cents. We're at peak oil. It's going to be World War III. Don, I learned about the mockingbird on Wikipedia, not in school. Yeah. Although, watch out for Wikipedia. It's kind of effed up. But yeah. Mark Dice has a couple of books on the subject. But like they thought in the 70s it was the apocalypse. It was going to be the big ice age and the collapse of civilization due to overpopulation in the 70s. What's your thoughts on the X-Men 97 reboot? Oh, right. I was just about to say. So, RJ was talking about the 97 reboot. It's woke, obviously, because they had to announce that one of the characters was non-binary. And that's a huge red flag, right? A huge red flag. Now, there's a couple of guys speculating. The showrunner said some base things about a different show, and that maybe he's fighting off the wokies that are in Disney. Maybe. He got beaten up for his based comments. I forget what he said. But generally, it's probably a woke product anyway. Now, those of you who watched X-Men 97 when you were kids, you probably have fond memories of it. I was old enough to be an older, crankier comic book fan, and we were talking about that show and complaining about it. And what we said about it at that time was, where is Chris Claremont's due? What does Claremont think of this? And Claremont said, yeah, no, I don't like this adaptation. I think it's poor. It's terrible. So that's the man. That's the man who created, he didn't create X-Men, but he's the guy who made X-Men. Don, of course it's woke. I just hate how most corporations think the woke phase will still make them money. That's sort of 2016 to 2023. Yeah, well, but they're big institutions, so it takes them a long time to process. Something like Disney. Based rhetoric is becoming more popular. Yep. And I've been saying this for a few years. I said this back probably in 2016. Definitely by 2019 I was saying it when I wrote Wokistan, a novel, and with my friend. And then I wrote Hollywoke, another novel. And I always talk about how I go to shows and the book Hollywoke is there. And at first, in 2019, 2020, people saw the title and went, I don't know what that means. Hollywoke, what is that? They had no clue. And I'd have to try to explain it to them, and then they'd walk away. But now, people come up to the table and go, Hollywoke? I know what that is. What is that? Is that about what I think it is? And I go, yes. And then they sometimes buy the book. So I had one guy look at Hollywoke and get mad and storm away. He was very soy based, I think. But yeah, it's becoming cool. And I said this years ago. It's going to be cool to be based. Don the second, even on Twitter, where ultra woke immigration Gaza is making normies turn the cheek. Yeah, the hardcore lefties now. It's starting to dawn on them that they bought into nonsense to some extent. They've been burned by the establishment finally enough that they're turning on it. And Gaza is kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. The whole time they've been like, no, you're secretly for all the communism and stuff, right? And people in the Democratic Party are like, oh yeah, we love communism and socialism. Yeah, keep doing that. Keep doing that. We'll keep secretly funding you and saying nice things about you. But we can't be out in public. And the Antifa guys will be like, oh yeah, we understand. But we're still bros, right? And they'd be like, oh yeah. Oh, we're tight, bro. We're gonna keep you out of jail. We're gonna protect you, and they would for a while, but now they're not doing that. They're starting to pull away from it. In fact, they're gonna throw them under the bus and start throwing these people in jail left and right just to prove how base they are. That's what's really gonna happen. Um, and now the Gaza stuff is totally effing them up because there are a lot of people with money on and a lot of them, most of them, I would say, are not communists. They're very pro Western values. They're very pro Israel, and they don't support the Gazans. Well, I shouldn't say they don't support the Gazans. Nobody wants to see these people killed. They don't support Hamas. They don't support Hamas, and that's a big complicated thing. They also don't want the Israelis to wipe them out, but this has been going on for years. In the 70s, we were talking about this stuff. It would be in the news, and I'd be like, "Oh, that sounds rough." Well, it'll probably blow over in a few years. YT Refugee. Rule of thumb, if there's talk of rebooting something you were fond of years ago, run away from it. They are most likely going to trash what you hold dear. Look, they've been doing this for so long, although back in the day, they tended not to do reboots unless it was a huge, huge thing. Then they would also put their own spin on it. It would be so different it wouldn't even matter. Here's my theory. Audiences are so atomized, right? They're so atomized by the internet. And I love the internet, so this isn't a criticism of the internet, but audiences are so atomized now. You can watch so much on the internet. Even my friend who's like a hardcore film nut and a cinematographer, he just got rid of his cable TV. He's like, it's too much money. I'd rather just watch stuff on the internet. He'd rather watch like old Johnny Carson shows, which are pretty good, by the way. They're pretty awesome if you sort of know those celebrities from that era. But and people just have gotten atomized. Like there used to be television, right? And there were 3 channels, and you'd watch it because that was it. That was it. That was your entertainment. 3 different network channels. So everybody kept up with basically the same things. If you didn't watch what I watched on Saturday night or Friday night or whenever, you watched something that I at least knew about. There were only 3 shows that would air at 8 p.m. And usually the hottest of those 3 shows would win the time slot. Most people would watch that, and the other 2 were just reruns anyway. Or they were shows that nobody really cared about. Don II. Japanese entertainment is not woke at all, and I love it from the manga to the video games. So far. Some of it on the fringes, they're trying to push it, but yeah, so far they're pretty based because they have a more conformed society. Everybody in Japan, most people in Japan are Japanese. Shocker, I know. Don II. All the reboot from the past 10 years have been rubbish. Yes. Yeah, because they're out of ideas. Part of it is the system by way they pay creators. So I know that in comics, in the past, they were very much work for hire situations. You didn't own anything, with very few exceptions. Don II. If Japan goes woke, then everything is over. LOL. So they were kind of work for hire situations. A lot of these guys didn't own their characters. They were just making stuff up off the top of their heads. Comic books weren't that important. It was more important as an artist and writer just to get a paycheck, and a lot of people just accepted that. Then over the years, that started to change when Neil Adams championed the creators of Superman, who they were old, and DC had made millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars off of Superman, and they weren't getting paid. They weren't getting paid royalties, and they deserved it. So he championed them, and eventually they got royalties, and it changed the royalty system somewhat. And there were more changes over the years. YT. Johnny Carson had class. Something late night shows today are severely lacking, and humor. Yes. Yes, it was a performance. They were about putting on a show. Not anymore. Not anymore, I would say. So, over the years, they created royalty systems. Now, they're a fairly lucrative deal. It was lucrative enough in the 80s and 90s that what would happen is if you got hired on a comic book, let's say Batman, you didn't want to use the characters the last writer used because he would get the royalties. You immediately wanted to create new guys to start getting royalties for them. Because what you were hoping is the next writer might be forced to use your villain or side character or whatever, and then they'd have to pay you. So there was a lot of internal machinations going on at these comic book companies where editors would hire each other because they were all trying to get paid. And they were all trying to get their own creations into the mix. And a lot of them were terrible because of that, because they were editors, they weren't really writers. And so eventually, I think it was DC where that got a little out of hand, and they sort of said, okay, we got to stop doing that. But eventually, after that, like starting around in the 2000s, I'll say, what the corporate guys did was they didn't want any new characters because lawyers basically ran the company, is my understanding, told to me by an editor, and it was cost efficient for them to take characters from 50 years ago and revamp them. So they would tell all their writers, oh no, don't create any new guys. Take an old villain like the Film Freak, modernize them, and then bring them back. And so that's kind of the system they have in place, or had in place for a while, so they wouldn't have to pay out more royalties. But it made the comics boring because there was nothing new, or it would be these constant reboots. But then when things went woke, some of these idiots, some of the woke-tards would create new characters, but they were so awful, nobody cared about them. So there's like a whole, I think it's Marvel. I think it was Marvel. Yeah, they created an entire team of trans superheroes, and they're awful. Like awful level of, this has got to be a joke, right? And no, it ain't no joke. It's a real team. I forget what they're called, but they have bizarre powers, and it makes zero sense because they're just trying to jam every rainbow thing into the company. I know I'm going off on a big tangent of comics. I said I was going to talk about comics, but the positive thing is this: companies will always betray you. They always will betray you because they're just there to make money at the end of the day. The only reason they're doing this ESG stuff, there's a few hardcore believers in the corporate structure. They're going to have to get rid of them eventually because it's going to cost them. As much money they made, they're going to lose money on these people because they're going to keep trying to push this stuff all the way up until the moment they're fired. And then when they're fired, they're going to probably sue, and it's going to be a big lawsuit, or you're just going to have to pay them to get rid of them. So, this is, but what we're seeing now, and I know it's taken me a long time to get to my point because I keep reading the comments. Don, the trans agenda is failing. They can't get straight men to hop on board. Yeah, that was definitely a deal killer. They're still trying to do it though. There's a sketch today. You got to see it. Let's see if I can find it really quick. There's a sketch today by this guy JP. He does these funny sketches. Here it is. Awaken. It's called Awaken with JP. And he's doing a funny bit where he's shacked up with a trans girl and talking about how not gay he is. It's very funny. Highly recommend. So, X-Men 97. So they're trying to give you this reboot. They're trying to make it woke. But at the same time, they're trying to pull back from the image of being woke. They still want to bombard you with progressive agenda. But they're pulling back. They want to pull back far enough so it can be hidden again. Which it always was. It was always sort of hidden. But now, the kind of people who are doing it are trained Marxists. They've been indoctrinated and trained to specifically lie, to get into these institutions, to specifically push these agenda. So what RJ talks about in the Fourth Age is a woman named, I think her name's Bobby Chase. I think that was the name. And she talks about how her parents and her would move to a Republican district when she was a kid, join the Republican Party specifically to undermine it. And then she did the same thing in comics. She joined, I think it was Marvel, and they told her straight up, no politics, don't jam your politics into the comics. This was years ago. And she agreed, and she said in the interview she knew she was lying. She was merely lying to get in until she could get in a position of power to then push the agenda. So these people are willing to lie and do whatever they can to push their subversive agenda because they're true believers. They're useful idiots. They think they're going to bring upon a utopia that we'll all live in and be equitable and everybody will be equal and there'll be no hate and misogyny and finally we could all just pursue our wonderful, creative endeavors and there's no work. And these are mostly women because a lot of women don't work and a lot of women don't understand. Somebody's got to clean the sewer. There's literally a TikTok video of this woman talking about how she doesn't understand jobs or why we created them at all. Like, she just doesn't understand that there's an infrastructure that must be maintained at all times. She doesn't understand if the infrastructure isn't maintained, she ain't going to be able to make TikTok videos. She ain't going to be able to heat her house. She's going to be struggling for food. People in the modern day have completely forgotten about the struggle of just living. You have to struggle. Now, I didn't struggle. I lived, in a time of plenty. But I had relatives who lived at a time when it still was, they at least kind of been told about the Depression or lived it. It was a rough time. All right. I missed a bunch of comments. Sorry. Don, you could hand me the hottest trans chick and I would take the 200 pounds real female any day. Agreed. YT refugees. They're mad that lesbians won't date them. Mad that straight men won't date them. They're really getting unhinged that no one is going along with their delusions. Well, I think it's partly, and I don't want to get myself in trouble on YouTube here, but I have a friend who's trans. Now, she's actually gender dysphoric. And whatever, that's her deal. But she, that's the only way she can be happy. And she's happier being that way. It's fine. But I think and she's not super active or militant or anything. But I think the other ones that are super active and militant, I think a lot of them are just faking it or they're mentally ill and they've glommed on to being trans because it gives them some measure of power and control over their life. Because everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people are afraid to contradict them. And when you're mentally ill and then you're hearing voices or whatever, you want people to believe you. All you have to do is say you're trans, and there's a certain sliver of people who are going to go, oh, okay, then everything you say must be true. And that's the problem, I think. The problem is all the focus. I think these people, a lot of them probably have issues that need to be resolved, and they're spinning themselves into being trans, thinking that having more power over their lives is going to help them, and it doesn't. Don, I could imagine that's the real thing. Republicans are just liberal light nowadays. If communism was legit working mechanism in society would maybe work, and that's a maybe. No, communism never works. It never works. Because everybody is supposed to be equal, and people can't be equal. You can't be equal. Because it would have to be like you get to be president one day and then another day you get to clean the sewers and then another day you're a farmer. Like, it can't work. It can't possibly work. And then we all get to paid the same amount. No, the moment you're president, the moment you go, well, I'm really good at being president. I should probably stay president. And continue to, not work in a sewer. Don, I'm fortunate to be born at a time when basic human rights are a thing. Yes. I don't have anything against trans. It's just weird that they want everyone to agree with them. It's a real life echo chamber. Yeah, I think it's just a lot of them are, you know, they're desperate people. The ones that you see, like, see, my friend's not one you're ever gonna see. She just goes about and lives her life. I think the like real trans people, and they're incredibly rare. They just go and live their lives. They don't want any of this attention. They got enough to deal with. Their situation is extremely, well, I shouldn't say it's extremely tenuous, but it kind of is, I guess. I don't know. I don't know it personally. I just know that my friend went through a lot, and it's like nobody helped her when she was going through it. Like no one. And then the moment it became trendy, like everybody wanted to, turn around and say. And I'll also add that was a lot of people in the comic book industry. A lot of people in the comic book industry who now tout at being so woke and wonderful and helping trans people. Oh, they didn't help her. Oh, they did not. They abandoned her instantly. It was like instant with her. So that's the hypocrisy. That's the hypocrisy. Don, I know commie don't work. I'm just being optimistic. Haha. Real people in general don't exist as much. A lot of people are afraid to be themselves. Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of it is that. And, a lot of people just don't want to admit they're messed up about a certain issue. They don't. People will deny reality all day long for a lot of different reasons. Maybe their life's not working out and they just can't handle it. They just can't handle a downgrade to their lives. I mean, you talk about these beautiful women like on Instagram and stuff. Some of them are delusional. They're utterly delusional. You can be, and some of these women are beautiful, no doubt. And some of them are pretty beautiful, but not the most beautiful, right? They're like, I don't know, to rate them, they're not 10s, but they're like 8s. You can't be, I mean, some of them can with really good marketing, but, if you're an 8 or a 7, you can't compete against a 10 on like some venue like Instagram or OnlyFans. You just can't. And beauty fades. And these women, they don't see down the road. They got to be smart. Now, a few of them are very intelligent. One of them made $50 million on OnlyFans. I hope she saved that money. I hope she still has most of that money, but it's really tough when you're that young and you're making that kind of crazy money not to spend it. Oh my God. If I had become a millionaire before 30, as I envisioned myself doing, like in LA, making movies, I promise you I would be dead or broke or both. Because I just didn't know how to handle the money. I would have been just like that. And I knew a guy in comics. He was making good bank. He was making $80K an issue at one point. But he's kind of broke now. I mean, I don't think he's broke, but he doesn't have he doesn't have that kind of money anymore. He just ran through it. He thought it would never end, kinda. Not really, but sort of acted that way. When you're making $80K a month, you kind of don't know what to do with yourself at that point. Like, oh my God, I'm making so much money. Like, you don't want to wait, right? If you're making $80K a month, you have so much money, you just throw money at things to make the problems go away. Like, I had to like fix the door in my house. I shopped around for a guy to get a good rate to fix the door. If I was making $80K a month, do you think I would have shopped around for a guy? I would have been like, crap, the door's not working. I would have called the guy and said, how much to come today? And if the guy said $5,000, I would have been like, fine, get here right now. I want my door fixed within the hour. That's the kind of thing you do when you're making that kind of money. You just don't want to wait. I don't blame people, but you start blowing money like that, it gets really easy. Start blowing money, right? Like you start thinking, well, maybe I should take a vacation, and you blow 10 grand. Or maybe you're on the vacation, you think, oh, I could stay another week for 20 grand? Sure, I got the money. It could go away real quick. Don the second, social media has ushered in a new age of entitlement. 7 and 8s are still bars trying to find a 90, 100K making man. The 10s got all the millionaires. 80K equals a lot of strip club visits. Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't go to strip clubs anymore. No, no. Nor would I if I got money again. Nah, I'm done with those. It was fun. I mean, if somebody invited me out to like a bachelor party, I'd go, but at least I know the etiquette. There's an etiquette in the strip club. People don't respect it sometimes, but I remember going to Gen Con, which is the big gaming con, and I met the guys from Troll Lord Games, and they were Southerners, and they were very impressed with my strip club etiquette because I just had been to strip clubs and knew what to do, and they were cool guys. They worked for Gary Gygax, the creator of Dungeons and Dragons, before he died, and that's where Gary was doing his work at the end, I think. All right, let's get back into some headlines. Here's a headline from Turkey. I don't know how real this is. Politician declared winner, but gives up his seat when he learns the election interference was on his behalf. I don't know, Turkey. I don't know if I trust that headline, but that's a nice sentiment if true. Hearts melt as truck firm transport tons of snow from north to south for special needs kids to have fun. Well, that's nice. That's kind of cool. Wow. So they brought in snow just so the special kids could have some snow in a hotter area. Wow, they must have been loving that. Oh, I heard this story. This happened a few days ago. Don, Turkey had that real bad earthquake a couple of years ago. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. This story dropped a few days ago. Charlotte the Stingray, who was single for years, celebrated V-Day with an impossible litter of non-fertilized eggs. So the Stingray was basically just gave birth on its own. Nature finds a way. Jurassic Park. Yeah. So I bet Charlotte's going to be very carefully examined by the aquarium that has her. That she just gave virgin birth. That's crazy. Oh, here's a story about Christian Bale. Christian Bale breaks ground on 12 foster homes to house hundreds of transitioning teens in California. Well, I mean, it's good. I guess we got to say that's good. That, you know, I mean, they're foster homes, so they're foster kids. That's a lot of transitioning kids, though. That might be a little too many, but maybe they'll get help. Let's be positive about it. America has a higher percentage of bilingual citizens than French, Italians, or British. That's true, but we are accepting a lot of foreigners these days, but okay. I'm going to be positive about these stories. These stories are real wholesome, but I'm waiting for the good news on the economy. Oh boy, you got a long wait for that one, I think. Let's switch up video or websites to Louder with Crowder. Now, I'm going to skip the negative headlines to see if there's any positive ones. There's usually one or two here. No, we don't want that one. We don't want that one. Don't want that one. Don't want that one. That's sarcastic. Don't want that one. 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 Okay. We don't want any of these. Christian Bale is just bored and wants to take care of little black kids. Maybe. Sif-Sifa, the good economy news will start at the $1 trillion note. That's when you know you really get rich. Like that episode of The Simpsons. All right, here's a CBS News, a section called The Uplift. The Uplift. Sif-Sifa, Christian Bale used to be so hot. You know, he goes through phases, I guess. He's like, you know, Robert De Niro. He loses weight, gains weight. Don the second, I'll be mentally disabled veteran if I can have a 50K base income. Uh, well, I wish we took care of our veterans better than that, but unfortunately we don't. Like being a veteran these days, well, being a veteran is always rough. I say it sucks, but it's true. All right, the uplift: a match made in heaven. A couple born on the same day at the same hospital makes an against all odds match on a dating app. A mother mourning the loss of her son makes a connection to a 5-year-old stranger. Plus, oh, okay. So there's a bunch of different stories. So this is a couple. They were both born on the same day in the same hospital, and they became a couple. Weird. Sif Sifa. These are the sacrifices we must make. I guess that's uplifting. I think it's just a coincidence, but that's pretty uplifting, I guess. Here's Travis Kelsey making the day of someone working in the fast food. Okay. Oh, I think I saw this story. I think she works at a Burger King, and she's a big fan, and he goes there every day. Don, Tony, when I became a millionaire, I'll buy you some blonde strippers. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. Finally, someone said it. All right, let's try the New York Post. There's usually a handful of... There's so many headlines on the New York Post. So, we're going to skip all the negative ones. I'll save that for later. Okay, not those, not those. My father-in-law gave me the secret to getting free groceries at the store. I was shocked when it actually worked. Oh, wow, that sounds kind of positive. All right. I certainly could use some free groceries. My 85-year-old father-in-law is a bit of a stickler for rules. He reads Choice magazine religiously and understands his rights when it comes to consumer law. Okay. Don the Second. The white wall is few and far between, but it's there. Oh, the white pill. Yeah. Let's see. When he told me recently about how supermarkets will give you an item for free if it scans higher at the checkout, I had my doubts. Okay. Then I tried it on size for myself. When a box of raspberries scanned higher than the advertised price, to my absolute shock, he was dead right. It usually happens when there's a special item on, although it happens sometimes for specials that have finished but they haven't changed the label on the shelves. It happened with a shaver kit, oranges, mixed fruit, garlic bread. So if they scan higher, you get it for free? If something scans at a different price, I usually let the staff member know that the item has scanned incorrectly, and they refer me to a senior person. They won't do it unless you ask. I think supermarkets are going to have a reduced price, then it should be passed on to the consumer. Okay. So this is a tip. Huh. So I got to remember this. So if you're willing to, like, I guess, call the manager over and say, hey, this didn't scan correctly. So now I get it for free. This is the scanning code of practice. This is Woolworth Supermarkets. Oh, I guess they have to be signatory to the scanning code of practice. Under the code, customers are entitled to receive an item free of charge if the scanned price of an item is greater than the shelf price displayed. Interesting. I'm going to have to try this at ShopRite just for the hell of it. Although I don't think it's ever happened to me, and I usually go to the self-checkout. So then what do I do? Exceptions under the code are products with a shelf price greater than $50, as well as tobacco products. Okay. So this is at Woolworths. I didn't know there was still Woolworths left. I go to ShopRite. That's my store. I love ShopRite. I guess same goes at Kohl's and Aldi. I do have an Aldi near me. And it says on the Aldi website, if a regular product scans at a higher than displayed price, you are entitled to receive the first item free. All subsequent items will be charged at the lower price. All right. Good to know. Good to know. So that's kind of a white pill. So it's more of a tip than a white pill. So, yeah, okay. I have to remember that. All right. Let's see what other positive things. That is not positive. Sylvester Stallone has Navy SEALs train his daughters in self-defense before they move to New York City. Okay. Sif Sifa. This is the case everywhere I'm aware of, but they always check the PLU codes on the price, and they never match. Therefore, this never works. Oh. Let's see. Usually one or two positive ones here. Drunkest fans in the NFL. Sif Sifa, as a former Aldi slavey, I would know. Oh, okay. So that's the trick. I guess this really doesn't work. Man, not a lot of good headlines here. Thought there'd be one or two under New York Post usually has one or two. Okay, here we go. Bag of $30,000 left on Long Island Railroad train, united with owner thanks to a clue inside. So that's nice. That's positive. Someone left $30K on the train and got it back. I don't know if you would have gotten it back from me. I think I might have kept that money. I don't know. That's a pretty big temptation. I mean, but then you got to think that much money might be drug dealers, you know? You might be like, oh man, this will get me killed. $30K. They'll come looking for me. I got to return it. Then maybe they'll give me some money. Don the Second, the good headline is that we still here as free-thinking Americans. Yes. Sif Sifa, I've been cornered in the bus tonight and told the good news about our Lord and Savior. Okay. I guess if you were cornered by a nice person. Let's see. Assistant conductor. Well, that's his job, so that's good he returned it. Okay. I didn't actually count it, so he didn't even know how much money was in it. The bag was brought to the MTA police, who located a date book inside with the owner's upcoming appointments listed. Imagine leaving $30K on a train. Did they give them? It didn't say. He got a reward. Don the K, 30K. I'd take 1K and skip town. LOL. Well, if you're gonna take the money, you gotta take the whole thing. I mean, there's no point in just taking 1K. You need to skip town. You need all the money. Sif. He was nice, but quite exasperated that I've read the lore. I had a job where I sometimes had to do cash deposits for the boss. And one time they gave me like $30,000 to deposit in the bank. And yeah, I wasn't going to run away with it. I don't think I would have gotten far. But it was a lot of money. Sif Sifa, who takes a train while having that kind of money? Yeah, that's true too. Don the Second, who else would have $30K in cash besides a drug dealer or a banker? Possibly like I hear a lot of jeweler guys do that. They have to deal in cash for some weird reason. But it's weird. It is weird to bring it on the train. That's like why wouldn't you get a car? Like, I got all this money. I better take a town car and just spend a little extra money to protect myself, right? Let's see. Bunch of sports. Holly's here. Hi, Holly. Howdy. Duck and Cougher. New York City mom fakes COVID cough to escape deranged knife-wielding menace. What I want is reform. That's... It's kind of a white pill. I mean, it's smart. She escaped. That's positive. Let's see. Sif Sifa says hi to Holly. That's not good. That's also not good. I mean, let's see. That's not good. Oh, here we go. FDA greenlights first drug for severe frostbite. Very important approval. Okay, I'll take that. That's a positive thing. I didn't realize that could be a thing. I wonder how it would get into your body if you're frozen. I wonder if they have to deliver it to you warm. That would make sense, right? But maybe it will just keep your cells from icing up, something like that. Michael Bublé, the singer, sends healing wishes to cancer-stricken King Charles III at a dinner with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. I guess that's kind of positive. James Brown's daughters still get DMs from his fans all the time, almost 20 years after his death. It's kind of nice. All right. That's about all we're going to get out of the New York Post, I think. Let's flip over to the Daily Mail. There might be one here. One positive headline somewhere. They're pretty negative. This one's going to be tough. A lot of negative headlines here. No, that's bad. That's pretty bad. All right, here's one. Travel writers and chefs reveal their favorite hangover foods from around the world. Decadent to the bizarre, but which would you try? We'll do this one. Okay. Pig's blood cake. Mixed with rice and served on a stick. Ideal hangover cure. I would imagine that would taste, this is in Taiwan, I imagine that would taste a lot like pork, very sort of porky rice. So I would try that. Mexico, menudo tripe stew. That, for those of you who don't know what tripe is, it's intestine. So this would probably be intestine from pigs. Again, very porky. Probably very soft. It's just the texture is weird. I'm not a big tripe guy, but I would try that. England, the prairie oyster. I've heard of this. It's basically a raw egg and some spices to make it go down easier. Australia, Vegemite on toast. I've had Vegemite, but Don II chitlins. Yes, that's the other name for it. Vegemite is like this weird thing that people in Australia and to some extent England love. It's this weird sort of savory spread. It's not bad. North Carolina, biscuits and gravy. Southerners love fatty foods, man. They just love them. This is so... I've had it. I don't get the appeal. It's okay. I'd rather have more meat. but it's okay. Korea. Ooh, this looks good. Hangover soup. Wow, that looks good. What's in it? Dried cabbage, vegetables, and meat in a hearty broth. That's just basically vegetable soup with meat in it. But it looks good. They're really into stews. The Koreans, they love a good hot pot. Italy, spaghetti al olio peperoncino. So I'm saying that all wrong, of course. Made with spaghetti tossed in a creamy sauce, infused with garlic, Parmesan cheese, and a hint of black pepper. It looks good. I would totally devour that. Jersey. Is this New Jersey or the Isle of Jersey? I think it's the Isle of Jersey because this is the Daily Mail. These are oysters, raw oysters. Oh, I love me some raw oysters. I just found a place that's not too far from me that does buck a shuck. Oh man, you can get your oyster on that place. Delicious. And I love all the little toppings. I love that you put the cocktail sauce on it. That's good. And lemon. That's good. There's this mixture of like vinegar and chopped onions. Ooh, that's good. And then you eat them raw. Knock on wood, I haven't had a bad one yet. Sifsifa. Some good news on food. Beef shin is optimal for stock. All you need is said salt and pepper, and you get a clear stock that's a good bit of shredded beef 3 hours later. And it barely costs money. I can confirm that. Shin is really good. I went to a Senegalese restaurant, and what was on the menu? I think it was lamb shanks. Lamb, like, it was like the lower leg, the shin, and the nut, or the joint. Oh man, it was so good. It was so delicious. It was kind of like eating a drumstick, but with lamb. It was really yummy. It's the only Senegalese food I've ever had. In Spain, tortilla patata, Spanish omelet. That looks good. That looks just like egg and potato. Right, yeah. That'd be a good breakfast. I'd be down with that. Thailand, Thai rice soup. That looks good. Anything with shrimp. Down with that. Clam miso soup. This is Japan. With pickled plums. Oh, that's weird. Wonder what that tastes like. The Japanese have cool food. I just love Japanese food. I want to go. That's like the one place I want to visit. I want to visit Japan. And I just want to eat my way across Japan. I just want to go to Japan for 2 weeks and just eat. That's all I want to do. I don't care about the rest of it. I don't care about anything else but the food. Oh man, I would love it. That's some money, though. That costs money. Portugal. Portugal has good food, too. What the hell is this? Francinija. I like the look of it. Looks like lasagna and french fries. It's a hangover toasty, layering bread with pork, smoked sausage, bacon, and topping it off with a medium rare beef steak. Oh my God, and more bread and melted cheese. It sounds amazing. It sounds absolutely amazing. The Portuguese have this dish. I know I'm making everybody hungry, but you got to try it sometime. It's basically, when they make it here, places that make it generally take French fries and just dump a ton of cilantro on them, and they're so amazing. I don't know how they do it. Oh, it's so delicious. Oh, I'm getting hungry just thinking. All right, we got to move on. Sifsifa. Oh no, the food news, and it's 11 p.m. Food news. Oh no. Yeah. Well, if you're like me and stay up to 4 in the morning, that's second dinner time. Here's another kind of a positive headline. Jimmy Carter is still alive. 99, marks 1 year in hospice care as his grandson reveals he was honored and glad for a health rally that allowed him to attend the beloved wife Rosalind's funeral. And Yeah, still kicking. Still kicking it. You know, this guy, he wasn't considered a good president, but an amazing post-president. Did lots of charity work. Super religious. Seemed super nice. Seemed like the only reason he was a terrible president, he was too nice. You know, one of those guys. Sif Sif at 9. I gotta go to bed and deep clean a bathroom tomorrow. Oh no. Holly, Jimmy is one tough dude. Yeah. Yeah, Sticks and Hammer keeps saying that, he worked to get rid of the guinea worm, which is a big problem in some of the third world countries. And Sticks and Hammer keeps saying, like, Jimmy Carter refuses to die until the last guinea worm is killed. All right, we definitely don't want that. No, I don't want that. I think we're probably done with the good headlines at the Daily Mail. I knew we weren't going to get many. Incredible story of Vietnam War hero who survived 12 hours adrift at sea and tricked his POW captors into thinking he was an illiterate fool while secretly memorizing the names of 256 prisoners to the tune of Old MacDonald. Wow. That's impressive. That's amazing. All right, I'm just going to close this one because there's so many ads running. God, the Daily Mail just runs ads nonstop. All right, over to the Post Millennium, which sometimes has one or two good stories. No, I don't want to get into the political ones. And usually I have one. I mean, this is sort of a white pill. Tucker Carlson exposes national security state as main driver of censorship and election interference in the U.S. So it's positive that he's still doing good work, I think. So that's good. Let's see. Positive news. All right. There's going to be a lot of headlines here. All right. Positive news, everybody. Here we go. That one's kind of political. Well, I don't want that one. Paris cyclist delivering aid to displaced Gazans against all odds. I mean, good luck. Be careful out there. That's positive. How to spread the love this Valentine's Day, according to positive news readers. All right, let's see that one. It's how to spread the love. Look in the mirror. Ah, that's nice. Be nice to yourself. Treat yourself. Look outwards. Active listening. Simple words. Practicing gratitude. Yeah, that's good. A cuppa, as in a cup of tea. A treasure hunt, I guess. Oh, this is for couples, I guess. Cooking, that's always fun. Picnicking, being charitable, doing nothing. Anonymous gifting, sharing learnings. This is all basic stuff. It's fine. Crafting, that sounds boring. Leaning into cliche, perhaps. Arden is here. Hello, what is this? Ah, it's the surprise positive live stream. Bonus live stream. I'm still doing a live stream tomorrow, but this is the positive live stream. It's only white pills here, Arden. There's only white pills. Let's see. Sustainable future. No, we'll skip that one. All right, that's about all we got out of that one. I don't really understand these headlines. Sif Sifa, good animal news. My aunt's cat, who is normally a bee when being really cute and cuddly today when I came over. That's nice. Ardent, positive news. I like it. Let's see. Let's try Breitbart. again, this one's going to be tough, but we'll try to find some positive news. Let's see. Ardent, it's World Pangolin Day. Oh, that's nice. Let's see. All right. No, not that. Let's try in the world. No. Yeah, let's try the world headlines on Breitbart. See if there's any positive things. Sif-Sifa, pangolins, the menace to WHO, a holy day indeed. Looking for a nice headline in the world. Oh, here's one. Here's one. Got back. Paul McCartney's stolen bass has been found and returned to Paul McCartney after 50 years. Okay? So this is, I guess that's his old bass. A 5-year search by the manufacturer of the instrument was aided by a husband and wife team of journalists who helped reunite the Beatles star with his distinctive violin-shaped 1961 electric horn Hofner that went missing half a century ago, estimated to be worth 10 million pounds. McCartney had asked Hofner to help him find the missing instrument that he helped launch. Well, where the heck was it? So 50 years ago, would have been in his 70s, he bought the bass for about 37 bucks in 1961. It was stolen around the time the Beatles were recording their final album, Let It Be, in 1969. Wow, that's kind of weird, right? Like, the final album's being recorded and he loses it, and now he gets it back. So he had it for almost his entire Beatles career. After hitting a dead end following a lead about a roadie for The Who, they relaunched the Lost Bass project in September. With 48 hours, they were inundated with 600 emails that contained little gems that led us to where we are today. One of those emails came from sound engineer Ian Horn, who had worked with McCartney in Wings and was the first big breakthrough. Horn said the bass had been swiped from the back of his van one night in the Notting Hill section of London, 1972. Oh, I guess he stole it then. So this guy stole his bass, and then it was stolen out of his van. After publishing the update, a bigger break came when they were contacted by a person who said their father had stolen the bass. The man didn't set out to steal McCartney's instrument and panicked when he realized what he had. The thief, who was not named, ended up selling it to Ron Guest, a landlord at the Admiral Blake pub, for a few pounds and some beers. That's weird. Ardent menace regarding the pangolins in the WHO. There was an early rumor about the pandemic that it was spread by pangolins or eating pangolins. That was used on South Park, on the South Park episode. So he stole the bass and then sold it to Ron Guest, who then passed it to his oldest son, who died in a car wreck, and then to his younger son, Hayden Guest, who was then married to this woman, and it was returned to McCartney in December. That's kind of incredible. Ardent. Ah. Kind of incredible. I'm a big Beatles fan, so that's kind of cool. He got the bass back after all these years. So maybe that's a weird sort of way of saying that something's going to happen, you know? Something's going to happen, something big, something good in music, maybe. And maybe McCartney will be at the center of that again. It's weird. It's weird how history unfolds that way. All right, let's see if there are any other good headlines. Don the Second, my favorite Beatles song is Come Together. That's a good one. I like that. What's my favorite Beatles song? That's a tough one. I really like Bulldog. I go through different phases where I'll listen to the Beatles, and then I grew up kind of with the Beatles in the 70s because they were still big on the radio when I was a kid. So I would hear their later stuff. So for them, that music hits differently to me than the older stuff. I tend to gravitate to the older stuff. But the one song I really like is a song they almost never play because of the lyrics. It's called Run for Your Life. And it's basically the Beatles singing about threatening their girlfriend. It's very funny. If you haven't heard it. That one and another one they never play is Happiness is a Warm Gun. They never play that one anymore, although that's a later one. God, there's so many. I just love them all. Don the Second, I like their more psychedelic stuff. Yeah, I really like Helter Skelter. Ardent, Hey Jude, that's a good one. Helter Skelter, though, is really good. I like that. But I go through phases where I'll listen to Helter Skelter a bunch, and then I'll just stop, and then I'll listen to a bunch of old stuff. And so they had such a great repertoire. They really did. And the cool thing about it, I really love like Maxwell's Hammer and all the stuff from that album because they like tell stories. You know, Paperback Writer, I really like that. That's a newer one. Newer. I didn't like the really new one that they just put out with like John's old recording. It was okay, but it just wasn't it, you know? Let's see. I don't think there's any. Well, this is kind of a good news story. Meghan Markle's podcast was finally kicked off Spotify. I think that's a positive news story. I mean, not to revel in her misfortune, but really, I don't think she should have a podcast. She should be like Kate Middleton, the other one that she just, you know, goes about being a royal. Maybe she raises some money for orphans or something. Just do that. Just do that. If you're a princess, you've already won. You've already won the lottery of life. You're a princess. You're a millionaire. You do whatever you want. Don't do a podcast. No one wants to hear about your problems. Sif Sifa, I struggle not to hear a bunch of alley cats fighting to some music when listening to the Beatles. Oh my God. This is supposed to be a positive newscast. Ardent, Happiness is a Warm Gun is good. Sif Sifa, oh no, that's so sad. Just be quiet and look pretty. Yeah, Meghan Markle is just, she's not good. She doesn't know what to complain about. Like, when you're that rich, someone should have taken her aside and said, listen, you can't complain anymore. That's like the problem with being rich. Like, once you're rich, you shouldn't complain. Like, even if you're dying a horrible death somehow, you shouldn't complain. You're rich. You're rich. Whatever horrible thing you're going through, you have money to address it. Yeah, you're not going to live forever, but, you know, you're living pretty good if you're a millionaire. Ardent, GTG nap, not feeling well. Oh, no. Feel better. Get better, Ardent, says Sif Sifa. Yes, get better. Positive vibes sending your way. Okay. Let's move on to... Uh-oh. There we go. Good news from today, the Today Show. Maybe we'll get some good news here. Sif Sifa, Diana went through horrible things, but we didn't hear her podcast. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think she would have done one either. Arden, thank you. A boy was in tears because he didn't have PJs for pajama day. Ah. But his bus driver came to the rescue. I thought, I gotta fix this. Okay. That could turn dark, but I don't think it did. So good. He bought him some PJs, and then he had PJs for pajama day, where I guess they let kids come to school in their pajamas. That's weird. I don't remember pajama day. We didn't have pajama day when I was a kid. In high school, we had a few days like that. We had like punk day and a couple other, Western day, and we all dressed up. I enjoyed punk day because I wanted to be a punk. I didn't really have a good outfit for it, but I tried. Sif Sifa, decent bus and trash can drivers. Trash car drivers. Decent bus and trash can drivers. That's nice. Let's see. Burger King worker who didn't miss a day of work in 27 years buys home with crowdfunding donations. Well, that's nice. Good for him. He received $450,000. Wow. I bet it didn't cost him $450,000 for a house. I hope he bought like $150,000 house and then kept the rest. Holly, schools now have everything. Everything day. My nephew is always having to do something, even crazy hat day. Yeah, I think we had crazy hat day, but that was high school. Like high school, you, at least in my era, you could kind of, you were really just trying to distract the high schoolers from doing stuff, you know? But little kids, I don't know, man. They're kind of out of control. Now I can't imagine them even doing that. It'd be a big controversy of some kind. Let's see. Former wild child searched for the foster mom who changed her life 40 years ago and found her. Well, that's nice. Good for you. For the first time in nearly 50 years, a Pennsylvania animal shelter is empty. A true miracle. Well, that's nice too. Look at that. So all the pets were adopted in this one shelter. Good for doggos. See that, Joan? There's a good dog news. You're missing all the good dog news. Oh, you're so tuckered out. You're so tuckered out. She needs a haircut. She needs a haircut, but we're not out of winter yet. The moment we're out of winter and it gets hot, Joan's getting shaved. That's what we do. I just take her to the groomer and say, shave her down. And it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare, but that's why I only do it certain times a year. Like at the beginning of spring, I take her to be groomed, get her shaved down, and then like probably the beginning of the summer, I'll do it again. Because it's such a trauma for her. Oh my God. She just does not do well at the groomer. Like, she's gotten worse. I used to be able to drop her off and she'd be okay. She wasn't great with it, but she was okay. Now forget it. Oh, no. I gotta be there. I'm there for the whole time. It's a 2 to 3 hour nightmare, but at the end of it, she's super happy. She's super happy at the end of it, but the wind up and the actual event. Somewhere I got a picture of Joan. You know, she's in the little trough and getting showered. And she's just miserable. Knicks player, high school coach, is now roommate after death of coach's wife. Oh, well, I guess that's nice. So he was the high school coach of a Knicks player, and the Knicks players or the coach's wife passed away, and now they're roommates. So he's trying to help him out. That's nice because he used to be his coach. Sif Sifa. Hopefully she doesn't throw a husky tantrum. No, Sif Sifa. Maybe there's a better groomer that gives dogs like a massage or something to chill them out. Oh, my groomer's pretty gentle. She just needs me there because she just freaks out now. She just, I don't know, maybe it's because she's gotten older. But I used to take her to PetSmart, and we had one good groomer, and she was really good. But then, I don't know, she left or whatever. And then it was a nightmare. I think partly because they would put her in a cage with the other dogs, and that can be traumatic to dogs when, like, she's little and the other dogs are bigger. But so now I go to this one who's very local to me. She's really good, and Joan gets a good deal, but you know, she just doesn't want to do it is what it boils down to. So, and now I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for the weather to turn so I could take her, and so it's coming up. Maybe in another 2 weeks I'll take her. Jill Biden reveals 2023 out Christmas decorations. Oh, these must be old. That's not the positive one I wanted. Eagles fans went viral for winning sideline passes, then received another surprise. All right, what was the other surprise? A visit from the players, I'm guessing. So longtime friends won the tickets. So, and then they went viral for the video when they received the tickets. So, that's nice. They won a prize. Chicago woman, 104, skydives from a plane, aiming to break records for world's oldest skydiver. Oh my God, and probably break everything else. Wow. Age is just a number, Dorothy Hoffner said after she landed. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Look, there's a lot of things. I'd be like, yeah, I'll try that. Jumping out of a plane, never going to be one. Unless the plane is crashing and for some reason I'm on it, yeah, hand me a parachute. But I am not jumping out of a plane on purpose. That just seems insane. It's not a sport. It's not a sport. It's insanity. It's like saying, like, you know, I'm going to juggle knives. I'm going to take up knife juggling. I'm going to throw them really high in the air, and I'm going to take up knife juggling. No, I'm not going to do that either. I'm going to like, drive off of cliffs. Like, who the hell wants to do this? I don't get it. I don't get the appeal. Sif Sifa. Oh, yeah, my brother had a baby a few weeks ago. So good news. I'm an aunt to a little dude. Well, congratulations. Congratulations. I got a response on Tinder. That was nice. I don't know. She hasn't talked to me. I get responses on Tinder, and then they don't talk to me. They just totally ghost me. But we'll see if she replies back, and I get a date when I haven't been broker than ever. But I'll scrape together some money somehow and take her out. Got to try to get out there. That's the rule. Congrats to Sif Sifa, says Holly. Starbucks worker raised over $40K for beloved barista after her car was burglarized. Well, that's nice. I'll get you a brand new car. So good for you. Here's another woman that turned 104. Wow. Lola University's beloved good luck charm, Sister Jean, turns 104. And then they threw her out of a plane. No, that's a different 104-year-old woman. Let's see. Couple makes their mission to visit every diner in New Jersey, and they're only halfway there. Good for you. This is a mission I could totally get behind. Me and my ex almost did it, I think. Oh, there's the Club Diner. I've been to that one. That's in Belmar, yeah. Yeah, they revamped it not too long ago. That's a fun mission. Every diner in Jersey. Oh man, that's a delicious mission. I'll tell you that. My favorite diner is still Ponzio's in Cherry Hill. If you go there, make sure you get the banana cream pie if they have it. It's delicious. Sif Sifa, cool that the attitude to take into 2024. Be 100, do extreme sports. Yeah. Yeah. What will I do at 104? What extreme thing would I do? I wouldn't jump out of a plane. That just, to me, is suicide. I don't know. Maybe something to do with rifles. Maybe go to the shooting range, shoot some machine guns. That sounds like fun. That's mildly dangerous. Or what else would I do? That would be about the extreme of it for me. Something in a car, maybe a race car, maybe drive around a racetrack at 100 miles an hour. That could be fun. But yeah, I wouldn't take that. Yeah, jumping out of a plane is just insane to me. Holly M, you could go to a range now, and I have. It's fun. Yes, I should, but I don't know. Bottom line is I'm just too broke for any fun these days. My fun today was making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That was my fun. And watching stuff. I watched, I may do a review of it. I watched the Venture Brothers movie, finally. I hadn't seen it. I'm a big Venture Brothers fan. It was okay. A lot of payoffs. Man accidentally donates $15,000 instead of $150 to a food relief fundraiser. Chaos ensues. Whoops. That doesn't seem like a positive headline, just a wacky one. Sam Kaplan graduates at 72 from Georgia College with his 99-year-old mom cheering him on. That's nice. Sif Sifa, we stopped going to the range until it turned out my long fingers make me aim better than my fella. Oh. Really, that's a factor, eh? Had no idea. White Castle wedding, the emotional reason this couple got hitched at the hamburger restaurant. Oh, I know why. It's delicious. I love White Castle. I can't eat there anymore, though. Last time I ate there, I thought I was going to die. But I do love me some White Castle. But, yeah, I can't eat it anymore. Apparently, whatever's in it doesn't agree with me now. I aged out of White Castle. But, man, I used to go there all the time. My friend who used to draw Batman, Tommy Castillo, lived near a White Castle. And whenever I went to visit him, I'd be like, oh, I'll go to White Castle. Hooray! Sif Sifa, short fingers make you tilt left a smidge. So like this? Like the gangster way? I know, that's wrong. Courageous dog gives birth to 7 puppies after surviving rattlesnake bite. Aw. Good for you. Good for you, doggo. She asked for a toy that looked like her adopted son and never expected this response. Okay, that one's kind of odd. Not sure why you'd want a toy that looked like your son, but whatever. A homeowner got a diamond ring back after 13 years later after flushing it down the toilet. Okay. I lost my wedding ring in the backyard. I still haven't found it. That would be the find of the century for me. I don't know where it is. I lost it doing yard work. But man, if I found that ring, oh, I'd be a happy camper because it was worth some money. Uh, and you wonder why I'm divorced. Um, yeah, that's a guy thing, though, I think. I never wore jewelry until I got married. Like, I wore the ring. And then I was constantly doing this. I was constantly fiddling with it. And then I finally got used to wearing it and then went outside to do yard work. And then I came in and she's like, "Where's your ring?" And I'm like, oh, no. Couldn't find it. Sif, my mom's cat had 4 kits the other day, and they keeping all of them because the mom cat hunts snakes. Oh, that's nice. Keep the family together. Second grader who vanished while camping in Michigan is found safe. Good. Good. That's a very good headline. Irish woman goes viral for feeding her taxi driver's friend out of a car window. Feeding a crow. That's nice, I guess. Family adopts unicorn dog who is nearly euthanized. She fits right into her family. Aw, good for you saving the doggos. Skipping some of these because I don't know. Some of them are a little weird. Sifa, children are more resilient than one would think. Yes. Oh, that's a sad one. Why would you put that one here? Woman reunites with camera 13 years after losing it in a river, and they got her pictures back and everything. That's happened a few times. Mm-hmm. "14 with a size 23 foot. His family struggled to find him shoes until now." Wow. How big is this kid's feet? 23? Are they going to show his feet? Man, he's a giant. Look at him. Jeez, how tall is he? There were no other options other than $1,500 custom orthotics that he would grow out quickly. Yeah, he's 14. Jeez, he's a giant. So it looks like Nike stepped in. They made him 22 sneakers. Well, he says size 23. So Arma and Puma will be creating custom shoes and cleats for Eric Jr. Oh, he's going to play sports. GoFundMe has raised $18,000 towards his future footwear. So, kid's a monster. Holy cow. He's going to crush people. He's like Shaq. How tall is he? At 14, I'm going to estimate he's got to be like 6'6", at least. Figure his mom... No, this is family friend, but I'm going to guess she's probably like 5'4", right? He's got to be about 6'6". He's going to probably be 7 foot tall. Or is that his girlfriend? Oh, this is his friend. Yeah, this is his girlfriend, kinda, at homecoming. With his friend. Good for him. Good for him. All right. Dog with lopsided face finds loving family who drove more than 2,500 miles to save him. Well, that's good. I love the dog ones. Nothing happier than seeing the dogs saved. All right, let's see if there are any good headlines over at the Fandom Pulse. Ooh, there's the ads. Sif Sifa, good news on culture. If you want some good, meaningful music, look up Akira the Don. All right. Nick Cage in Fandom Pulse. Nick Cage may reprise his role in Amazon's new Spider-Man noir. I guess. I don't know if this is a really good property to develop, but Nick Cage is always fun. Let's see. Usually there is a good review here. Stephen Amell, who was Green Arrow, is in a new Suits LA spinoff. So he's coming back. Oh, here's one. Russell Crowe and Liam Hemsworth bring back testosterone-fueled action in Land of the Bad. Yeah, it looked okay. I mean, it looks like a military movie about drone pilots, but looked fine. This is a nice article. Totally's 80s Comics, a First Comics retrospective. They were really good comics. If you haven't bought any of the old First comics, they're really good. So, a couple of positive ones here. And finally, what do we got over here? The Good Hub News. The Good News Hub. Meet the 110 Sudanese refugee Fatima, who is helping other women achieve financial freedom. Is she going to try to sell me crypto? Because she's 110, and I don't think she's going to know what she's talking about, but she's 110. She must know something, though. Here you go. Missing cat, reunited with family after 10 years. I could see that. I could see a cat being like, listen, I'm going to step out. And then 10 years later coming back, hey, I'm here, feed me. Cats are like that. My cat, we lost him for a few days, and we were looking all over the neighborhood. And then we found him in the garage. And like, you would have thought, like, if I'm out of the house for like 10 minutes and I come back, Joan is like, oh, you're back, thank God, I thought you were gone forever. But like with a cat, it's like nothing ever happened. It's like, oh, you're here? Ah, great, feed me. It's completely the opposite. All right, let's see. These are kind of old, but let's see if we got some positive. Here we go. Baby elephant is reunited with her mother 3 years after being taken. Well, that's a cute story. Is it still a baby if it's 3 years old? I guess. 10 of the cutest tiny animals. Okay. Holly M. You are the cat's human. Yes. All right. There's a tiny little turtle eating a strawberry. Here's Madame Berth's mouse lemur. They're kind of cute. Wonder if they make good pets. Here's an Etruscan shrew. They're very tiny. Look how little. Kitty's long hog-nosed bat. I'd be afraid to own something like that because they say they get rabies. Pygmy possum. Very tiny. Oh, look at this guy. Brookesia lizard nana. Wow, he is very tiny. Joan would probably just eat him. A Monte Iberian dwarf frog. He is... Geez, I can't even tell how tiny he is by the leaves around him. The dwarf three-toed jerboa. Looks like a mouse with no front paws. A bee hummingbird. Again, kind of tough to scale this one. Those flowers could be very small. Oh, and there's the turtle again. tortoise. Aw, look at a fox. Foxes are cute. Some of them are domesticated. Some people have them as pets. But I don't know. I don't know if they should be pets. But they seem to make good pets. They're just like dogs, really. They're kind of like dog cats almost. They got a little bit of cat attitude, but man keeps alive language thought extinct. This is the Chana language, native of Argentina and Uruguay. Thought to be extinct for over 200 years, but it's now been discovered that one man has been keeping it alive. That's pretty cool to be known for that guy. Amazon deforestation halved in 2023. Okay, sounds good. Extinct golden mole is spotted for the first time in over 80 years. They would be hard to track, I would imagine, since they're moles and they go underground. Okay. That one we already had that one. Bike Whisperer, vigilante who finds stolen bikes and helps reform thieves. Okay. Yeah, that's positive. It's a good thing to do. First new antibiotic discovered after 60 years, thanks to AI. I don't know if this is necessarily that good, but good, I guess. Antibiotics are good. It's not that I'm anti-antibiotic. But like people like, I don't know, they use them too much, I think. Let's see, what else we got here? Heartwarming story, firefighters rescue an injured owl from crows. Aw, good for you. Meet the man who plays piano for rescue elephants. Now that sounds like a fun job. That sounds like a fun job. All right, guys. I'm here to play piano for you. And the elephants are just walking around. All right, what do you want to hear today? I mean, they must be sick of hearing the elephant walk. I think we could definitely say that. Overlooked rescue dog adopted after 7 years thanks to a lot of love and a twist of fate. Good. Love to hear good dog stories. And I'm going to skip that one because I don't think it's a good story. Meet the amazing robot cats you can check out from this library. That's just weird. I don't want a robot cat. What are you? A robot cat? It's weird. Archaeologists uncover 2,000-year-old ancient Roman makeup similar to today's in Turkey. Okay. I guess. That's kind of cool. New bionic hand allows amputees to accurately control each finger. Yeah, they're getting really good with the prosthetics now. That's amazing. I think they hook it up right to your brain. Kind-hearted students raising money so their teacher's wife can have heart surgery. That's very nice. Good for you, kids. Here's another dog story. Shelter dog story adopted after 11 years, Joan. 11 years, Joan. You're getting up there. You're almost 11. How old are you? Let's see. You are 9. Yes, you'll be 10 this year, Joan. You'll be 10. But that doggy was in a shelter for 11 years. Let's see. Video games created to save ugly, critically endangered animals. Oh, that's a weird one. I'm going to have to look at that. This is from last summer, but... yeah, that's what it says. environmentalist organization On the Edge is trying to save the lesser known ugly endangered animals from extinction by putting them front and center in video games. Okay. They have released 2 games, Save the Purple Frog and Kakapo Run, which plans more on the horizon. Okay. So the animals are ugly, and then they make the game to save them. All right, weird. Why don't we hear more about these ugly, critically endangered animals? It's so weird that they're calling them ugly, right? Am I not the only one? Yeah, it's weird they're calling them ugly, right? They want to save them, but they're calling them ugly. It's odd. It's like, I don't have any judgment on the looks of animals. I mean, you'd have to be a very, like, gross looking animal for me to call you ugly. You know, it just looks like a purple frog and a slightly weird bird. But yeah, I guess. I mean, it's good they're saving the animals. Good they're saving the animals, I suppose. But weird that they're making that judgment call. All right. And I think we're just about out of stuff to talk about. Let's see. Is there anything over dissenter? There's almost never a good headline here, but we'll check. Let's see. No, they'll be talking about this later. Well, there's Jimmy Carter again. So that was kind of a positive one. Yeah, most of these are not great. Not great. Or they're very political, which, yeah. There's Paul McCartney again, getting his guitar back. Mm-hmm. Israel finds boxes of medicine intended for Gaza hostages in hospital. I don't know if that's a good headline or not. Maybe? It's good they found them. They could get them their medicine. And Trump went to SneakerCon in Philadelphia. And the crowd went wild chanting, USA, USA, F Joe Biden. I just find that funny. I think that one's positive. I mean, you can be political if you want, but I think that's positive. You know, people having a good time at SneakerCon, for what that's worth. So, yeah, that's about it. That's about all I got for you. So a lot of white pills here. A lot of white pills, Joan. You're a little white pill. You're a little white pill. So if you guys got any white pills, feel free to share. Don, I know you have an album you're working on and various music projects. Everybody check out Don the Second on Twitter. I saw you drop some beats a little earlier today, or maybe it was last night. So I was listening to that. They sound good. What do I got going on? Book 14 of the Pineys is coming out in March, so in a few weeks. I got to follow up on the cover, but the book is basically done. I just have to do some editing. Just have to put it through the machine, as it were, check all my sentences and spelling and all that good stuff. But other than that, it's done. I'm about halfway through 15, so I'm actually doing pretty good on that front. I just have to finish 15 by the end of March. I have until the end of March to finish it, which is more than enough time. Um, Next week, I finally have some events. I'll be at United Methodist Care, which is a senior place, on the 23rd. I'm doing Nerd Fest on Sunday, the 25th, and I might have a date on the 24th, but it's up in the air. And then on the 28th, I'm doing Tyndall Road Brewing in Bordentown, which will be fun. Holly, good news. I Heart Horror raised $8,300 for Deborah Heart and Lung. Yes, that was a good thing. That was some nice charity work there. Good. Somebody will get a heart and a lung. I think that's enough for a heart and a lung. At least one of each. I don't know how much heart and lungs cost, but that might get you those, I think. Oh, look how happy Joan is. What a happy camper she is, getting a nice pet on the head. Yeah, I don't need much in this world to be happy. I really don't. I mean, I used to want all these things. But now I'm just happy if I have food in the fridge. Like it just makes me happy to have a full fridge of food. Because when you don't have food in the fridge, it is an unhappy time. My whole goal in life is just to be able to buy pizza wherever I go. Like literally, if I could do that, if I can literally buy pizza at any time, wherever I go, I'm happy. And sometimes I literally can't. And it drives me nuts. Like I go through phases where I go, oh, this is the time. This is the time now. I can buy pizza. I can buy pizza whenever I want. And then I hit a bad streak like I hit this month. And I'm not being negative about it. It's just the time of year. And I go, oh man, I can't buy pizza. But I know in a few weeks hopefully I'll be flush again. And I'll be able to have my pizza. Just a big slice of pizza whenever I want. That's all I ask for in life. What more could you want than a nice slice of pizza in South Jersey, Joan? That's it. Ah, your face is so dirty, too. That's the other reason we got to get you groomed. All right, we shave off all that dirt, and you're clean again. Yes. There we go. Get the dirt off your face. Joan has very active tear ducts. So she tears constantly and then rubs her face in the dirt and then it gets all trapped in her face. Right, Joan? Right, Joan? Because you won't stop sticking your face in holes you find in the ground. Because you love it. You love the smell. You just love the smell of dirt, this one. Loves it. Sif Sifa. See, at least you can get you pizza. Some of us found out age 30 that gluten is the devil. Oh no. Well, it's always gluten-free pizza, I suppose. There's always sushi. That's the other thing. When I can afford sushi wherever I'll go, oh, that'll be a great day. Then you know I've made it. Every day sushi. Go out, get the sushi, get some pizza. That'll be my day. That'll be my retirement, just gaining weight. Just eating my way across South Jersey or Tokyo. Oh boy, that is the dream. That is the dream. All right. I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I got to check on my spaghetti sauce. Tune in to the beginning of the podcast if you want my basic recipe for spaghetti sauce. Being Italian, I can give that to you. Tomorrow we'll be doing a live stream where we do it live. We'll be talking about the important thing in life, which is movies and how terrible they are. And will there be any white pills? No, none tomorrow. But we had some today. Right, Joan? Yeah, so this was like a nice, cool, chill live stream. I hope you enjoyed it. I was going to do it on Rumble, but I couldn't figure it out. I don't know. I managed to do one Rumble live stream, and today I think it was actually not my fault. I think it was the site was too busy or something, so I couldn't get it going. So I just did it here. Holly says, have a good one. Have a good one to you, Holly. Thanks to all. Hope to see you tomorrow on the Hollywoke Hot Take Live, where we do it live at 7. Thank you all, and we'll see you in the next one.